Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaridhari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaridhari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaridhari.
Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaridhari.
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yashodanandana Braja Naranjana.
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari.
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 Gopi Janavallabha Girivaridhari.
Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaridhari.
Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaridhari.
Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaridhari.
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari.
Jayo Radha Madhava
Gopi Janavallabha Girivaridhari.
Gopi Janavallabha Girivaridhari.
Jayo Gopi Janavallabha Girivaridhari.
Jaya Gopi Janavallabha
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Jamuna Tira Vanachari.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, part 3, chapter 19, text 34. Sanidhyat te mahayogin.
Sanidhyate Mahayogin.
Saniyate mahayogin.
Sanidhyate Mahayogin.
Patakani mahantyapi.
Patakani Mahantiapi.
Patakani mahanyati.
Patakani Mahantiapi.
Sadyo nashyanti vaipumsam.
Sadyo Nashyanti Vaipumsam.
Sadyo nashyanti vaipumsam.
Sadyo Nashyanti Vaipumsam.
Vishnur eva surre taraha.
Vishnur Eva Suretaraha.
Vishnur eva surre taraha.
Vishnur Eva Suretaraha. Sanidhyate Mahayogin.
Saniyate mahayogin.
Patakani Mahantiapi.
Patakani mahantyapi.
Sadyo Nashyanti Vaipumsam.
Sadyo nashyanti vaipumsam.
Vishnu Eva Suretaraha.
Vishnur eva surre taraha.
Okay, my chance. Come on. It's not out. Oh, it's not out. Okay, no, never mind.
You don't want to use the book?
No, it's okay. I don't come to often, but I thought it was out.
Please repeat. Sanidhyat,
Sanidhyat.
on account of the presence.
On account of the presence.
Te,
Te.
your.
Your
Mahayogin,
Mahayogin.
O great mystic.
O great mystic.
Patakani,
Patakani.
sins.
Sins.
Mahanti,
Mahanti.
invulnerable.
Invulnerable.
Api,
Api.
in spite of.
In spite of.
Yaha,
Sadhya.
sadhya,
Sadhya.
immediately.
Immediately.
Nashanti,
Nashyanti.
vanquished.
Vanquish.
By,
By.
certainly.
Certainly.
Usam,
Some
of a person.
of a person.
Vishnu,
Krishna.
like the presence
Like the presence
of the personality of Godhead.
of the personality of God.
Eva,
Eva.
like.
Like.
Eva,
Eva.
like.
Like.
Sura itaraha,
Sura Itaraha.
other than the demigods.
Other than the demigods.
Translation. Just as the atheist cannot remain in the presence of the personality of Godhead, so also the invulnerable sins of a man are immediately vanquished in your presence, O saint, O great mystic. Please repeat. Just as the atheist cannot remain in the presence
cannot remain in the presence
of the personality of Godhead,
of the personality of Godhead,
so also
the
the invulnerable sins of a man
invulnerable sins of a man
are immediately vanquished in your presence,
are immediately vanquished in your presence,
O saint,
O saint,
O great mystic.
O great mystic.
Purport. Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. There are two classes of human beings, namely the atheist and the devotee of the Lord. The devotee of the Lord, because of manifesting godly qualities, is called a demigod, whereas the atheist is called a demon. The demon cannot stand the presence of Vishnu, the personality of Godhead. The demons are always busy in trying to vanquish the personality of Godhead. But factually, as soon as the personality of Godhead appears, by either his transcendental name, form, attributes, pastimes, paraphernalia, or variegatedness, the demon is at once vanquished. It is said that a ghost cannot remain as soon as the holy name of the Lord is chanted. The great saints and devotees of the Lord are in the list of his paraphernalia, and thus as soon as a saintly devotee is present, the ghostly sins are at once vanquished. That is the verdict of all the Vedic literatures. One is recommended, therefore, to associate only with saintly devotees so that worldly demons and ghosts cannot exert their sinister influence. Our glories to devotional association. Just one more reason. So many reasons, you know.
Prabhu, could you read that sentence again? My mind is so fragmented.
Is it the last sentence?
Yeah.
Okay. Be glad to mention. It's really cool in there. One is recommended, therefore, to associate only with saintly devotees so that worldly demons and ghosts cannot exert their sinister influence. I remember Prabhupada said that it's not that ghosts can take over your body, but they can exert their influence upon your body. It's not that they can drive you out of your body and, replace you.
There's one time when he said they can actually kill.
Oh, really? You heard him say that? Ghosts can actually kill.
He said they can actually kill you.
Probably by external, like using a knife and fork, just like something like this or something.
I think they try and smother you. He didn't say.
Right,
he didn't elaborate.
Yeah, I had one of those dreams just a few days ago. First one I've ever had.
Where they choke you?
It was the most amazing thing. It was a very powerful personality. I don't know who it was. I thought it was my father, which doesn't make any sense.
It's called sleep paralysis. The karmis don't know what causes that.
I've heard so many people talk about it. But he was using his legs, just upper portion of his legs, on both sides of my chest. And I kept thinking, well, he's going to let me go. But he didn't. He never did. The more if I moved a little, he would clamp down harder. I've never had that before. I didn't feel any pains in my chest, but in the dream, I can very much relate to that. I was helpless. If I moved at all, he'd clamp down harder, and it was very
Could you not breathe? What could you breathe?
Oh, I could breathe, but it's like I wanted to plead with him, please let me go. And if I even did that, he'd clamp down even harder. Yeah. You're absolutely right, man.
It's very hard. Like when you can't breathe, it's very, very hard. For years, I slept with the Chaitanya Charitamrita on one side of my head and the Bhagavad Gita on the other. I lived next to that graveyard. I don't know if that had anything to do with it.
Yes, 100%.
Because they're only farmers buried in there and some Indians.
Yeah, still.
I knew this would be, I was going to start at the top of the purport, but I knew this would be a hot topic.
Yeah.
Are you going to have some kind of, kirtan? Remember that pastime of Prabhupada where he told the boys that they should have incense going and kirtan going?
Well, I remember the New York Temple years ago. People used to jump off the top of the New York Temple. You know about that, probably, right, Margie? Commit suicide. I think even devotees maybe were doing that,
New York?
Huh?
I remember there was one in San Diego, some kind of power.
It was that tall building in New York,
Oh, it's good.
But we've all had our little things, our little dealings. And devotees are very sensitive. They have very rarefied senses, so they tend to notice things. Rarefied senses. Just like the demigods have very rarefied senses, you know, they can perceive things, and we're always counting on Krishna, we're always depending on Krishna. So Prabhu said, always expect the mercy of Krishna. I've got a lot of experience, not a lot of experience, but I was married to somebody who occasionally would, you know, get possessed, so I had to deal with it. And sometimes it depended on how strong the personality was. Best thing to do is take scripture and place it on the chest if you can hold that person in. This person, nobody can control her, you know. But with that, I actually used a Bible. They handed me a Bible because I had everything I could just to hold the person.
Guru Maharaj said he has a disciple who carries the back to Godhead issue zipped up in his chest at all times.
Wow. Well, I can tell you that the best thing, because I did it for a few years, is endless loop, especially with Prabhupada chanting Maha Mantra over and over all night long.
I had that
That's what I
too,
have
yeah.
And I'm out of it right now. I'm going to have to arrange it to start it over again. Endless loop, you know, somehow have the endless loop, you know.
I have a little java box.
Yeah, a little jump box. That protects you. I'm sorry, Margie? You haven't had that?
I'm sorry, maybe you're still not done with the class, but I have to go. This is a very interesting topic because I experience culturally from where I am and over here. I grew up in a culture where a lot of people are haunted, you know, over there. But over here, when they see somebody acting like that, same style, they say it's schizophrenic and some other things, mental, these, that, or maybe it's under so much medicine. But actually, I see this both are the same, but over there they treat it differently. They don't take that kind of people. They know that they are possessed, you know, they have something. So one of the ways they do it, they have a lot of people, or not a lot of people, some people who have trained to, like Ghostbusters, they know how to drive these entities away from them through some kind of a small spiritual things that they do. And my mom is one of them. So she has ability to invoke Hanuman. And for years and years when I go up, and these are Chinese people, check this out, we are Indians, these are Chinese who's having problems, and they will come to her and she will get rid of them one by one, you know, and I've seen that when I go up, you know, and she did some more also when she was here, you know.
If you have Hanuman on your side,
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
They believe like that, you know, over there. And
well, you know, Jet Li and Jackie Chan, they made 2 movies involving Hanuman.
okay.
And so that was, and they were successful movies. People love those 2 movies, you know. Jet Li actually played the Monkey King, Hanuman. He was very, very, very powerful, undefeatable, carried his lance with him. He was golden, and he was always smiling. That's the only time I've ever seen Jet Li smiling.
This happened to Yogendra Prabhu's youngest brother. You know, he used to come, he was okay, normal and everything. One day he went to Bourbon Street. The next day he came back, he became a different person. Talking to himself, and then they finally, you know, tried to help him with all kinds of medicine, and then they put him in some kind of a place. He got worse and worse and worse. They diagnosed him as schizophrenic. But it happened overnight. He just went there, something happened to him,
Unbelievable.
and he came back and he's not normal, and years of heavy medicine, they put him in this kind of home, and eventually he died. And he was younger.
Oh,
Younger than Yogendra Prabhu.
the devotees never were able to get to him and help
Yeah,
him.
nobody could figure it out.
See, as devotees, I mean, I'm always telling people out there, please ask us questions. We can help people in so many different ways, you know. And we want to help people. We're Vaishnavas, you know. I'm not, but y'all are, you know.
When I started growing tulsis on the side of the house between my house and the graveyard, it stopped.
Oh, you planted tulsi between...
Well, I had a little greenhouse,
Yeah, green.
and it was on that south side of my house, and it stopped.
So Tulsi Devi, by Tulsi Devi's grace, you were
They
rescued.
wouldn't cross tulsi.
They went across Tulsi.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
I think my Guru Maharaj might have said that wearing And I used to put tilak on myself and my kids twice a day. That was 5 people. That was quite a juggling.
You know, Prabhupada was always singing Krishna 24 hours a day and always chanting and translating, engaged. Well, I can just see logically why we should be engaged 24 hours a day. Prabhupada says, think of Krishna, 24 hours a chant. He said, chant Hare Krishna 24 hours a day.
Prabhupada said, I am ghost proof.
Oh, Prabhupada said, I am ghost proof. He smiled really big.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I tell people that, if anyone commits suicide, they have to take a ghost body, My mother committed suicide. My wife's favorite uncle, wonderful person, committed suicide. I know so many people. My favorite aunt committed suicide. Did I tell you my mother committed suicide? Did I tell you that? Yeah. At 5 years of age. And so, who else over there?
Amy.
Mother. What age were you when that happened?
33.
I recently read, because I thought, when I was in England, they were advertising ghost tours of a ghost that had been in the castle 400 years. But I recently heard my Guru Maharaj Jayapataka Swami say that you keep the ghost body for the amount of years you would have lived if you commit suicide.
Oh, he said that you keep a ghost body the amount of years that you were alive in that particular
That you
body.
would have lived.
Oh, you would have lived.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Jayapataka Maharaj said that.
Yeah.
Wow. It makes sense because, you're already in your ghost body, your subtle body, it's already there. So what you've done is you've removed your gross body, and what's left is your subtle body and the soul. So you obviously still have to live out your duration. Because it was your fault, our fault.
You say more than that, when they do that, just use logic, When they take their lives, they take their lives, but the body's not, the soul of that is not ready to go. So and then they realize, oh gosh, I don't have a body. Then they look around, and then they find the weakest one, and then they get in.
Yeah,
and they can stay there.
Especially women and sick women. My wife was real diabetic, so I had to deal with it all the time.
Right.
I had to deal with it all the time.
And then there are people, if you really go deeper in other cultures, they know how to identify this. I grew up from small seeing this, how to find out what is their sign and all that, and then they know how to politely tell them, go, you need to go. You need to get out, and you need to go.
I remember in LA, at the LA Temple, we would see people walking in the park talking to themselves.
Yeah,
Nowadays it's not usual because what they're doing is they're talking on their phones. They're all ghostly hunted,
And people call your schizophrenic, that's what they say.
It's a strange world we live in. So starting chocolate purport. There are 2 classes of human beings, namely the atheist and the devotee of the Lord. The devotee of the Lord, because of manifesting godly qualities, is called a demigod, whereas the atheist is called a demon. The demon cannot stand the presence of Vishnu, the personality of Godhead. The demons are always busy in trying to vanquish the personality of Godhead. But factually, as soon as the personality of Godhead appears, by either his transcendental name, form, attributes, pastimes, paraphernalia, or variegatedness, the demon is at once vanquished. Just like, when you see 2 magnets, like if you get them close to one another, they're going to immediately repel, unless they're properly matched up, then they attract. So the devotee is always properly matched up with Krishna, and so therefore Krishna is always attracted to us. But when you're out there preaching, and then the demon somehow or other becomes aware, this person is, connected to God or Krishna. They just find a way. Will walk around. They'll walk to the other side of the street, just to avoid Krishna consciousness. It is said that a ghost cannot remain as soon as the holy name of the Lord is chanted. The great saints and devotees of the Lord are in the list of his paraphernalia, and thus, as soon as a saintly devotee is present, the ghostly sins are at once vanquished. That is the verdict of all Vedic literatures. One is recommended, therefore, to associate only with saintly devotees so that worldly demons and ghosts cannot exert their sinister influence. Just like there's a room that's dark, but as soon as any light comes into that room, then it's no longer dark. It cannot remain fully dark. So a devotee is like that, in this dark world of ignorance.
Thank you for
What time is class usually over?
8:30 your time.
Usually 8:30,
Yeah.
not 8:20. Okay.
You can go up to that time.
I wasn't
Thank
sure.
you for tolerating us. We're making so much noise.
Oh no, it's so fun. I keep looking over there, just get inspired, just to see everybody doing service.
But we make so much noise.
I don't know how y'all do. And how did y'all pick so many flowers yesterday? Those 3 huge bowls of flowers.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
those, that was a big bush by Scott, a big bush.
We just thought we should use what we have, and we were lucky this year. Sometimes, those flowers don't.
Have you ever gotten pictures like that before of the deities just covered in flowers like
I
that?
don't think so. That was the first time I think.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
We just thought we would use everything what we have. Thank you. Yes, you were getting faster.
Prabhu says that religion is first class who teaches one how to love God. Just like the atheists, they don't want to be in the presence of God because just like a person who just can't stand somebody else, they don't want to be in the same room.
Yeah, it's really, because people are very envious of God, but God is living inside your own body. So that's really a very difficult situation.
Yeah. What happened to that boy, Chase? He's not here. That had that amazing drum.
Oh yeah, he's
He only comes on Sundays and special
well, I
events.
think he lives with Bhakti Graham.
He could have some great kirtans,
Yeah.
great bhajans.
Yeah.
I have one more thing that I have to. I'm sorry. There was a couple here yesterday walking around, like an older guy. I don't know if anybody saw them. They just was walking around. It was strange because that lady had some kind of a band-aid hand, and she's like nervous and scared. And this guy's like, he looks like a hillbilly, not hillbilly, redneck. That's how
I
he
know
looks
him.
like.
Kat was talking to him, and I also.
Yeah, so this is what happened. And then I stopped, and it's a festival day. I thought he knows something, so I talked to him. I say, hi, hello, how are you? And he walked around. The first thing he told me, I need to make this lady join here. She needs to come here, and she needs to stay, she needs to join. And then he asked me, what does it take to join here? And then I said that 4 regulated principles. He said, oh my God, I do all 4 of them. This is not for me.
Oh, I thought he was
All
already
those
following.
4 principles,
He's
he
breaking
said he
all.
breaks them all the time, all
Yeah.
4 of them.
Yeah.
And then how can I have her join here? I said, well, that's the 4 things you have to follow,
Yeah.
That poor lady is like, her hand is like broken or something.
But you start out by following anything in Krishna consciousness that you like.
Yeah,
So you dovetail slowly.
right.
Back to Steve, brought all those women here.
Oh, but this man was like not interested, but he wants to like dump that lady here. That's his mood, She need to join. She need to stay here. And the lady is like, no,
A while ago y'all mentioned paranoid schizophrenia.
Yeah.
And one foremost psychologist said that I think it was at least 60% of CEOs have the characteristics of paranoid schizophrenia.
Yeah.
I can see why.
They involved in so many things.
Yeah. Simply that act of trying to understand Krishna will make him liberated. Krishna cannot be understood completely. Even Krishna cannot understand Krishna. Krishna is transcendental. Activities, therefore, in connection with Krishna are transcendental. Bhakti Yoga is transcendental. Transcendental means not of this material world. This material world is asat, achit, and nir ananda. Less intelligent class of men cannot understand Krishna. There are ways to remember Krishna, Prabhu says. My dear Pacific Ocean, you may be very great and powerful, but you cannot cross this line. That is Krishna speaking, Prabhu says. And he says there's another way you could, when you see the sunrise, you remember Krishna. He says, if you are actually serious about the supernatural, transcendental subject matter, then you must approach a bona fide spiritual master. And then there's also another way to say it. That's how Prabhupada says it. But unless you are serious about this supernatural, transcendental subject matter, you need not approach a bona fide spiritual master. You simply waste his time and waste your time. Prabhupada says that this is Vedic society. The mountains are full of minerals, etc. You eat the fruit and throw away the skin. The animal will be satisfied. Because the animal will eat the skin. Is that true of the cows here? Because I find that they're very picky.
Yeah.
You know?
But have you seen them reject it?
I've never seen them reject skins, you know. Maybe they like skins, maybe.
No, they don't like. They don't eat apples. They don't eat oranges.
They eat pears though. They eat those pears down there, don't they?
Well, maybe the milk cows. Have you tried the retired cows?
No.
They'll eat anything.
But even cows don't like anything. Small babies, they just don't want it.
The retired cows don't get spoiled like the milk cows. But some of the retired cows don't have a full set of teeth, and then they have a hard. That's why they get skinny and die.
Oh, really? Well, this is from Radhanath Swami. He's talking about Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada writes, when I left, only 5 people were there to see me off. And Mr. Bhagavati and Mr. Sain Gupta, somebody else, I didn't get the other name, of the Skandia steamship lines. There was somebody from the Skandia steamship lines. Mr. Ali and his smallest son, Vrindavan Chandraji. That was his send-off. Later on, I asked his son, Vrindavan, what were you thinking when your father, just going on 70 years old, was walking up the steps to the Jaladuta all alone, carrying only 40 rupees and not knowing anyone to help him? His son told me with tears in his eyes, I was proud of my father. That's beautiful. This is Vaisheshika Das. He joined in 1973, Vaisheshika Das. He's from San Francisco. And he says, Srila Prabhupada really started to push book distribution in LA. He says, if someone comes in contact with the Bhagavad, it's not an ordinary thing. If they say one word or one line, if they read one word or one line, and he says, Prabhupada said, I painstakingly translated every word of this Srimad Bhagavatam because I want you all to become pure devotees. What mercy. The proper guru, Vaishnava, he's raining down mercy just like a rain cloud upon us all. So our business is to soak up as much of the rain as we can get. Take advantage every day, every hour, every day. And also spread Krishna consciousness, share Krishna with others. after the battle of Kurukshetra was over, does anybody here know how Maharaj Yudhisthira felt?
He was quite disturbed.
He was concerned, wasn't he?
Yes.
Why was he concerned?
He was concerned that somehow all of that was on him.
Yeah, that's true too. But he was also concerned for the progeny after
How they were going to go on.
Yeah, a pure devotee, he's always more concerned about others, Prabhu says that in this age, politicians, they go to brothels and drinking and naked dancing. Nowadays, they are considered first class. Actually, in business, they call it something like the boys' club. You're hip, you're progressive, and you're expected to go far if you play the game. If you're a member of the boys' club in these big corporations, and that general tendency is don't talk about God. My father was just the opposite. He would always, he would talk to people. He knew it would bother people a little bit. He wasn't fanatical, but he'd always debate with people at work,
About God.
And in philosophy, he was a mental speculator, but he had, as you say, Jesus in his heart, but he was always searching and thinking. He was a thinker, he was an engineer, He couldn't accept Krishna, he just couldn't. But on his deathbed, he told the doctor, and he was blind, and he had dementia or whatever. But, because I mentioned to the Indian doctor about being Krishna, a devotee and like that, and just out of nowhere, my father, he said, this is what he said, but it was kind of hard to understand. He turned to the Indian doctor and said, I know Krishna, I know Hare Krishna. He said Hare Krishna on his deathbed, a week later he was gone. So that was wonderful. Well, actually, we're all envious of Krishna. We're all envious of Krishna. It's just like our envy is cheating us, just like our false ego is cheating us, Our false ego tells us, oh, we're special. Prabhu says that actually, if one thinks that one, even in this moment, thinks that oneself is advanced, that's cause for fall down. So we don't want that. And we know the false ego is always going to be lying to us all the time, But to tune it out, it's beautiful to tune it out. We know if we're chanting the Maha Mantra that we're definitely tuning it out because we're listening to Krishna. And there's so many advantages to actually leaving behind the false ego. The false ego is kind of like, here we are, and we're looking at Krishna. But the fool standing in front of us, hey, stop looking at Krishna. Hey, it's me, man. You like me. I'm your best friend. You know how great you are. I'm always telling you how great you are. So he's interfering with, worshiping Krishna. He's getting in our way. Hey, sit down. We get control of it. Sit down over there somewhere. You know what I mean? Leave me alone. But it always pops back up. He's always popping up. So if we're always thinking about the other Vaishnavas, how can I serve? I'm just your humble servant, Prabhuji. You're my master, Prabhuji. Master. And we're always thinking about the good qualities of the other devotees. It has to be practiced, though. I mean, it's not easy. We have to force ourselves, but it's so easy to think the qualities of devotees. If you ever go away from devotees for a while and come back, or say maybe you don't get much association, maybe you're out preaching, and then you come to a big festival, it's like, oh, these devotees, it's like, wow, an ocean of nectar. So it's really nice to take shelter of the devotees, to appreciate the devotees. Does anybody else have any viewpoints on appreciating or praising the devotees, you know? Because our false ego is always telling us to praise ourselves, but if we're practicing on praising others, then it's... Yes, ma'am?
Before you finish, I didn't know.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Of course, what comes to my mind again is the example of Srila Prabhupada, and how even though he's a Sankhya Vaishnava, Jagat Guru, but then he's always thanking the devotees for that my Guru Master sent me to help me propagate the Krishna consciousness all over the world. Or he would say sometimes when, I don't remember exactly, but are you George Harrison's guru? And Prabhu said, I am nobody's guru, I'm just the servant of the servant of the servant. So you see it's so wonderfully Prabhupada goes, wanting to help his Guru Maharaj by glorifying and even when in the days of where we would, when the Prabhupada first came, he would be always serving his disciples.
And he never brought it to anybody's attention that maybe you should cook or maybe you should wash the dishes. He never said anything about it.
Yeah.
He just left it up to the devotees to figure it.
One thing that comes to my mind is that we can't directly serve Krishna, we're supposed to serve the devotees.
Nice.
He's perfect.
Very nice, Mataji.
She practices too.
Isn't this a beautiful process? I mean, it's so easy, Bhakti Yoga. Oh, I'm sorry, Prabhuji, go ahead.
No, you can finish. You were saying.
Oh, no, I was just saying it's such a natural, simple living and high thinking, the village way of life. I mean, if anybody thinks about what is it like really in, in heaven, whatever your idea of heaven is, one thing you do have to admit, they're living the village way of life there. Because they don't have billboards, they don't have asphalt or concrete. They've got cottages, they've got palaces, streams made of nectar, Kopaviksha trees. The village way of life, beautiful, flower-filled fields, right? And everyone there is our friends. Imagine that. You meet a stranger on the road and they're your friend automatically. You're in the spiritual world. You don't have to worry about anybody robbing you, But no matter what religion you belong to, the idea of heaven would have to be that village way of life to perfection. You know what I mean? Yes, Prabhuji?
Yeah, I was just going to share this, that this is a verse that my spiritual master shares a lot. He really emphasizes this verse. Which is from the Adi Purana. One second, this website is awful. Because those advertisements are just ruining the internet. They should make this illegal. Anyway, this is from the Adi Purana, in which it states, Ye me bhakta jana partha, na me bhaktas cha te jana, mad bhaktanam cha ye bhaktas, te me bhakta tamamata. Which means, translation, those who are my devotees, this is Krishna speaking to Arjuna, and he says, those who are my devotees are not my devotees, but those who are the devotees of my devotees are my devotees.
Jai.
This is, this is,
Can you, in case, is everybody in the kitchen listening? Can you read it again and I can repeat it over the microphone?
yeah, sure. Just the translation.
Yeah.
Okay, those who are my devotees.
Those who are, Krishna says
To
Arjuna, those who are my devotees
are not my devotees.
are not my devotees.
But those who are the devotees of my devotees
But those who are the devotees of my devotees
are my devotees.
are my devotees. That is so beautiful.
Yeah, it's important to keep in mind because
And who's your Guru Maharaj, Prabhuji?
this great Sankirtan, that's Adhikari.
Oh, yeah. Very nice. Yeah, Shankar Shanam. Jai. I haven't seen him in forever, He used to love putting on plays
Yeah,
down the temple.
yeah. He was with the whatever that show was, the Transcendental Rock Opera. What do they call that?
Oh, you're talking about when around our days, going back that far?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the road show.
The Transcendental Road Show.
Vishnu John Swami.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I never got to meet Vishnu John Swami.
Yeah.
I joined right after that,
That's who brought Sankarshan Prabhu to the movement.
I did get on the. Oh, really?
Yeah. He
Vishnu John Swami.
He was trained up directly by Vishnu John Swami.
Oh, really? Trained directly? I don't know if I ever knew that about him.
In Austin. That's where he joined.
Joined in Austin.
Yeah.
I have heard so many stories about Vishnu John. Someone was telling me, this was a gentleman who said Bhakta John, and he was somewhere, maybe in Texas, but he said that he was walking in the park. It was back in the days when everybody was doing the drug thing, whatever. And he was walking maybe with a friend, and he heard this tinkle, 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 somewhere in the forest, whatever, like in the park, it's like wooded areas and stuff. And they just kept walking and walking, and then they could see something. It was a certain color of saffron or something in that very far distance. Couldn't make out what it was. And, they were all doing their drug kind of thing. So you can imagine he's imagining something amazing, whatever. But anyway, so he's walking and gets closer and closer. And then so the transcendental sound vibration just was getting louder and louder as he was getting closer and closer. And he said it was such an amazing experience. And to come upon them, and it was just amazing. And to him, that's the way he described it to me. And he said he just helped the devotees all he could. He would drive them here, drive them there, let them stay at his place, engaged that way.
Maybe real quick I can share a little anecdote from past time. So another thing my guru mentions about Vishnu John Swami is that I guess in Austin back in the early 70s, it's kind of a hippie town, and they had this one part near the University of Texas where they would have this like kind of outdoor market that was like a big haven for hippies. So that's where Vishnu John would do a lot of his preaching. And anyway, my guru says that there's one time where Vishnu John Swami did not even have any instruments, and he was totally by himself. It was just him. No mridanga, no kartals. He was just clapping and chanting and dancing. And the story goes, it was so ecstatic that just people could not help themselves, but just be fully absorbed, and join in. And he was basically like the Pied Piper,
Absolutely.
Without a pipe, just like leading devotees just with his clapping and his singing.
It's like a demigod Pied Piper, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tall, handsome, and sound, everything about him, from what I've heard, I think it might have been Vishnu Mars was talking about he and Vishnu John went down to Ganges or something, and they were, they were giving out beads, and they were chanting and everything, but I believe it was Prabhupada who said, you can't do that. They think that you're their guru. You're their guru now.
Yeah.
Vishnu Mars was just saying, so now all these people think that this tall, tan, bronze demigod is their guru, Vishnu John. So, thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Yeah, sure.
Prabhupada says, if you do not become servant of Krishna, then you will become servant of Maya. You cannot become master of Maya. That is not possible. Master of Maya is Krishna. Mama Maya. Prabhupada says, there is a proverb, you have lost your culture. Now you will beg from country to country. There was a college student who said, Swamiji, what this Krishna consciousness movement will do? What we require now is technology. Prabhupada said, I am a giver. You are a beggar. Imagine that. Prabhupada's giving so much to everyone. Just like that cloud raining on everyone. It's just whether they're going to take it or not. Those who are so unfortunate that don't take to Krishna consciousness, we know, we feel for them. Maybe many more lifetimes before they ever get a chance like this again. But, when we were down there we used to go down when I had a car some years ago, and we would do Sankirtan. I remember we got out of the car, and I usually there was like 5 of us usually. I got out of the car, and that's when I started doing working on Bourbon Street, you know what I mean, with the hats and the books and stuff. So I got out of the car and I was walking ahead of the devotees, maybe like 30 feet, dressed as a karmi. So they didn't know I was a devotee. I didn't have my dhoti on, but it was an amazing experience. It's like I got to see the other side, you know, because I was walking and there's a car right here, and the man's getting out, his wife's right there, and he says, "Come on, honey, look, it's the Krishnas." He was so excited. I loved it. He had no idea. I was walking right by him when he said it. I heard it, and it was just beautiful.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
And that was y'all.
It gives you faith, it gives you reassurance that, yes, the holy name is such a wonderful
And to hear it in his voice, how excited he was.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome, you know. And I remember up in Birmingham, we'd be out, and people would always tell us, "Where have you all been? I haven't seen you in 30 years, you know." I said, "Well, we're all over the world, you know. But yeah, it's true, we don't get out maybe as much as we used to, you know." I said, "But we're here now, see." Doing kirtan and everything. You know, sometimes I think it would be nice just to be under a tree out here giving a class, you know, and have kirtan underneath a tree somewhere, you know. We just have to, if we do that sort of thing, we'd have to just make sure it's probably the same tree where we know there's not lots of fire ants and stuff. Because we wouldn't want any guests to be attacked with fire ants. All of a sudden, they're up to legs or something, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, they're all biting at the same time. We wouldn't want that.
We can scout the area first, throw some blankets down, all those things, you know.
You know, I always envisioned, like right next to the road up here in that shady area across from the cows, you know, where you could sit at the base of the tree and the speaker is slightly like a seat there against the tree, and then there's the hill goes up like this, so the audience could be stacked up like that, and they can have, you know, it seems ideal. And if you had a big old sign, "Open class, everyone welcome," on the road, you know. I don't know if anybody would ever stop, but I just thought that would be so cool.
Sounds very good, Prabhu.
It sounds really good, but I mean, how many people in these big old trucks, you know, are going to stop? You know what I'm saying? But open class, you know, on both sides of the sign. When we have the class, which probably won't be very often, but you never know. Someone might stop.
Yeah.
Everyone welcome.
You know, as an outside, someone not from southern Mississippi originally, which I guess most of us aren't. But anyway, yeah, you know, I was anticipating that people here would be, you know, very close-minded, and you know, and surely you'll find those people. You'll find those anyway. You'll find idiots and rednecks all over the world. Actually, they're everywhere. Yeah, a lot of people, even the people that you think would be the least likely, with the most southern drawl, you know, and you know, a lot of them are really friendly and open-minded as well.
Redneck's a good word.
I like her name better.
Kathy wants to know if redneck's a good word.
It's not. It's a disparaging term. It's not a nice thing to say about someone. No.
I like Mother Maharani, the way she said it a while ago. She said the hillbillies. The hillbillies.
Oh yeah, the hillbillies.
She was trying to say hillbillies.
Yeah.
I've seen both in 50 years. What you're saying, that some of them are not very much into devotees and Krishna consciousness, and whereas some of, like one time we went like four, and a group of the boys went to this one place. We sat down and we were chanting, and like a lot, at least like young people go by and Hare Krishna, and then finally a cop came by and said nope. So that happens. And then when I was giving out violins and cookies, some people were very nice. Oh, thank you. You know, some people would say, oh, this is something I'm going to always treasure. And the other people were, no, you know. So yeah, I found it was like a mixture of
If you went back 50 years, I'm sure it would be not very favorable at all.
Class is technically over, I guess.
True.
8:30, right?
Yeah, that's true.
That happened about 50 minutes after we were out there. Police car showed up, and I found out later that it was the church down the street that called the police.
Yeah.
And she's right, though. The young people coming by were going, yeah, they were into it, you know.
Yeah.
And some people came by and talked to us, you know. That was right there in Picky. Now, in 15 minutes, a lot of people were showing their, yeah, all right, that's great, you know. In 15 minutes, though, we weren't there very long, and maybe it was it 30 minutes, or how long do you think we were there?
Yeah, it wasn't long.
Wasn't very long. And I found out later that through the gentleman who, because the gentleman had the business there, he had the open grass area there, he's the one who actually found out, because he's a business gentleman, so he had friends. So that's what we found out, unfortunately. Glory Shishi Gorni Tai, Shishi Bhagavatam, Glory Shula Prabhupada, and Son of Devotees Ki Jai.